Good day everyone. So my name is Bill Jomar F. Camacho and my partner is Lani Palmes. So the topic that was given to us is Module 7 Lesson 2, which is Netizenship and Netiquette in Online Communities. Netizen. Netizen comes from the word internet and citizen. Simply means these are users, which is us people who are using internet. Second is netizenship. Netizenship is an active participant in the online community of the internet. Means citizenships in the internet or in the virtual world. Was presented as net users.
Netiquette is a short for internet etiquette. Just like etiquette is a code of polite behavior on the internet, this includes several aspects of the internet, such as email, social media, online chat, web forums, website comments, multiplayer gaming, and other types of online communication. Netiquette is derived from the word etiquette, which refers to the general rules and conventions of correct and polite behavior in social settings and situations. It is thus the practice of exercising polite and considerate behavior in online context, such as internet discussion, boards, and personal email. As responsible netizens, we are all expected to support a healthy interaction on the internet.
Netiquette, or the rules of socially accepted behavior online, have observed in writing an email
and texting and other communications
on the web.
The netiquette guidelines includes
protect your reputation,
respect others,
express yourself clearly and use emoticons,
remember the intellectual property,
check spelling, grammar, and punctuation,
pause before you post,
do not share your personal information,
and think about who or what you are representing. Now, if you all don't mind, let us present this before all of you come up with another clever idea to get us killed. Was expelled.
So here are some netiquette guidelines. The first one is protect your reputation. Whether in real or in virtual world, you are the same person. Do only what is appropriate and share information does not harm you as a person. Oversharing information in social media can harm you or can ruin your reputation. It results to cyberbullying and identity theft.
Respect others. Respect begins respect. Treat everyone with respect even if you have not seen him or her in person. Be judicious about what you say on your own and others' pages. Being able to respect is being able to consider, sympathize and appreciate, and comprehend situations and people. In every fields of industry, respect is one best way to live a happy and peaceful life because it also means of appreciation and it takes so much courage for a person to bear acceptance, contentment, then acknowledge special features of peers.
The third one is express yourself clearly and use emoticons. So communication online is difficult because emotions are not evident during communication. Miscommunication usually takes place because your facial expression and your body language cannot be seen and the tone of your voice cannot be heard. Thus, emoticons are readily available to show your emotions. So, emojis, which are very useful today in terms expressing our emotions, whether we were sad, happy, or we are disgusted, something like that.
Remember the intellectual property. Ideas online are products of intelligence of others. If you need to cite them, acknowledge the authors. You definitely do not want to steal properties of others.
It's not quite true, is it?
An intellectual property is something such as an idea, invention, or process that comes from a person's mind. There are various methods or laws the government enforced to prevent plagiarism and of any sorts of stealing properties. Keep in mind that the entire web doesn't only revolves on you or on the recognition of your special and unique attributes, but also of other netizens. Therefore, be sensible on how you behave and learn to acknowledge, accept, and properly borrow works of another.
Number 5. Check spelling, grammar, and punctuation. Since your face cannot be seen online, you will be judged according to your post. Good writing means good manners. We do not want to waste other people's time reading our post, which is incomprehensible. Incomprehensible. So before we post, we should double check our grammars, spelling, and punctuations or everything. So I suggest if we are not totally comfortable to our grammars, I suggest we have a online apps which is the Grammarly. Ginagamit ko din yon. So, nakakatulong. Malaking tulong sa akin yon kasi kina-correct nila kung ano yung mali mo, kung saan ka maglalagay ng punctuation or the perfect word na gagamitin mo.
Post before you post. Take note that whether you post becomes permanent, that think twice or thrice before you click send. When we say pause, according to Merriam-Webster, it naturally means to temporarily stop for a while. It is a period of time in which something is stopped before it gets started again. In publicizing a post online, we do this not to merely stop for a moment of time but to observe, criticize, and rewrite phrases we have created. It is so that we may relay our ideas and message through the smoothest and nicer manner we can.
Number 7. Do not share your personal information. Sharing your personal information online is like going around the streets wearing a shirt printed with your information, like your name, birthday, your parents' name, and address, or etc. So do not share your personal information. We do not put we do not put our personal information in social media because we all know that maraming magnanakaw. Like, we have two types of magnanakaw. The first one is if you put your information to your social media, pwede nilang gamitin ka. Like, scammers, gagamitin yung identity mo and your information kasi madali ka ang makuha kasi nilagay mo lahat ng info mo dun sa social media. The second one is madali kang matutunton ng mga magnanakaw because your information is input sa social media mo. Like magpo-post ka ng ipon mo or na marami kang pera or ng rings, jewelries. So, madali kang matutunton. Mananakawan ka. So, do not share your personal information in your social media. Like, okay lang naman na, kunyari, ang pangalan mo, Bill Jomer F. Camacho. Pwede mong ilagay Bill Camacho. At least, pag ginamit ka, hindi ka totally ikaw yon. Kasi, yung total na name, yung name mo talaga is Bill Jomer F. Camacho.
Think about who or what you are representing. As a son, daughter, you represent your family. As a student, you represent your school. You do not want your family or school to put to shame by what you do. Tell me what your friends are, and I will tell you what you are. This phrase happens in real life, literally. A person is considered as some kind of a person, mostly in accordance to whom she or he regularly encounters, because the more we attach ourselves to them, the more we somehow imitate and get influenced by their sort of behavior. It occurs in almost every domains or parts of a community. At home, school, or any other groups one can join. And if we go backward, the phrase could also be, tell me what you are and I will tell you what your friends are. It's more like you yourself represents the people around you or the company where you belong. This is why people must be cautious in every action that's carried, because many could be affected by the consequences of the deed. Each of us has a significant contribution to the kind of a community we have in the virtual world. As the Association of American Medical Colleges, we are responsible for the public face that the connected world sees. Consequently, our individual digital reputation is shaped by our posts on social media.
Dear Mom and classmates, muli po akong bumalik. Ngayon naman ay tutungo tayo sa intellectual property right. Ano nga ba ang intellectual property right? Ayon sa World Intellectual Property Organization, intellectual property refers to creations of the mind such as inventions, literary and artistic works, designs and symbols, names and images used in commerce. Intellectual property is important because it refers to the ownership of an idea or design by the person who came up with it. It is a term used in property law. Common types of intellectual property right includes copyright, trademarks, patents, industrial design rights, trade secrets. Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines, or IPO. It administers and implements policies related to intellectual property. This act defines intellectual property include copyright and related rights, trademarks, service marks, geographic indications, industrial designs, patents, layout designs, integrated circuits, and protection and disclosed information.
At doon nagtatapos ang aking sulat. Maraming salamat sa inyong pakikinig. Hanggang sa muli. Nagmamahal, Isaline Ariate.
Welcome to the Mixed Daily Top 15. I'm VJ IE. Happy Monday everyone! Sana ay naging maganda at naging masaya ang inyong mga weekends. Pero today is November 15th. So gusto ko lang batiin ng happy birthday lahat ng celebrants for the day at ka-birthday nyo ang nag-iisang B.O.B. He's a hip-hop rapper na nakakollaborate na rin na Taylor Swift, Bruno Mars at iba pa. Moving on, I will be giving to you the top 15 copyrightable works or properties by authors and artists. But for now, let's know what copyright is. So what is copyright? Copyright refers to the legal right given to the owner of the original work or intellectual property. These works are original intellectual creations in the literary and artistic domain protected from the moment of their creation. So copyright is the legal right of an author, artist, composer, or other creator to control the use of his/her work by others. Generally speaking, a copyright work may not be duplicated, disseminated, or appropriated by others without creator's permission. Copyright law defines computer programs as literary work and as such is protectable under copyright. So, duplicating, disseminating the trade secrets and codes should be avoided and used in a fair and legal way to avoid legal penalties. So, simple lang yan. Down to top 14, these has connection to top 15, other literary, scholarly, scientific, and other works, and other artistic works. So, iwas-iwasan natin na copyright. Top 13, pictorial illustrations and advertisements. An illustration itself can be copyrighted but not the idea behind it. Someone could copy your concept and make it in different style and there's nothing you can do about it. Advertisements. Kapag nanonood tayo ng TV, madaming ads na pinapalabas kapag break ng isang show. At ang lahat ng ads na yon ay bayad. Kaya, minsan kapag may nabanggit ang isang contestant or guest na isang product, ay pinagsasabihan nito at nagsorry agad yung contestant after nila mabanggit yung product. Kasi po, hindi po ito bayad ng show. Ganon. Kaya dapat may permission and formal notice doon sa may-ari ng product. At number 12, audiovisual works and cinematographic works produced by a process analogous to cinematography and or any process for making audiovisual recordings. So who owns the copyright over an audiovisual work and cinematographic work? Who? It's the producer, the author of the scene, the composer of the music, the film director, and the author of the work. So adapted. Therefore, they have the rights to produce fixations or reproduce the work, make the work available to the public, broadcast the work on TV or radio, and communicate the work to the public. Moving on to the next slide, copyright prevents people from copying the protected work, distributing copies of it, whether free of charge or for sale, renting or lending copies of the work to the public, performing, showing, or playing the work in the public, communicating the work to the public including putting it on the internet, and making an adaptation of the work. For a work to be copyrightable, it must be original and fixed in tangible form. So, we still have many copyrightable works here. Moving on to the next slide at number 11, we have photographic works including works produced by a process analogous to photography. Lantern slides. So ano daw yung lantern slides na sinasabi dito? Okay, lantern slides is a glass sheet with a painted or photographic image used especially in the past to produce a larger image by shining through it in a machine called magic lantern. The first lantern slides were created in the 1960s around 200 years before photography was invented. They provided a spectacular entertainment and education in the way that cinema does today. The first slides were made by painting images onto small pieces of glass. People viewed to painted slides by shining candle or gaslight through them. number 10, drawing or plastic works of a scientific or technical character. Examples po nito ay iyan, yung mga figure na gawa sa plastic or water parts, plastics, toys, and many others. At number 9, illustrations, maps, sketches, charts, and three-dimensional works relative to geography, architecture, or science. So all of these works are copyrightable because they are already protected from the time that they were created as an original work. Therefore, the artist has the power to control the use of their work, who uses it, and how. Top 8. Original ornamental designs or models for articles of manufacture, whether or not registerable as an industrial design, and other works of arts. So, these are also copyrightable kahit hindi siya rehistrado, basta original work mo, protected pa rin siya ng copyright. Next, at number 7, we have drawing, painting, architecture, sculpture, engraving, lithography, or other works of art, models, or design for works of art. These are common works of art na talagang kapag gagamitin mo, dapat may proper citation ka or permission sa may-ari katulad ng painting and drawing. Sa mga hindi pamilyar sa engraving, ito yung madalas nating makita sa singsing, sa necklace, sa coin, even sa woods. Yan. At 6th spot, we have musical composition with or without words. Music copyright designates legal ownership of a musical composition or sound recording. This ownership includes exclusive rights to redistribute and reproduce the work, as well as licensing rights that enable the copyright holder to earn royalties. Each piece of recorded music that has 2 sets of copyright, one for the musical composition and one for the actual sound recording. So this compositional copyright covers an underlying musical composition, the arrangement of notes, melodies, and chords in a specific orders that is held by songwriters, lyricists, composers, and managed by their music publisher, who also partially own the copyright. Down to our 4th spot, here is letters. A letter is a literary work and the author of the letter is normally the first owner of the copyright in their literary work. Copyright lasts for the life of the author plus 70 years. When the author of the letter dies, copyright passes with the author's estate to his, her, heirs, and beneficiaries. As letters are normally sent by the author to a third party, the owner of the letter may not be the copyright owner. So ang physical owner or recipient have no rights to reproduce, copy, or share the letter to others. Only the copyright owner has that exclusive rights. Now we're down to our last 3 spots. At number 3, are unwritten lectures and sermons protected by copyright? Yes, Section 172 of the Intellectual Property Code provides that lectures, sermons, addresses, dissertations, prepared for oral delivery, whether or not reduced in writing or another material form, are considered original creations in the literary domain, which is protected from the moment of their creation. Thus, all tasks delivered orally are copyright protected. Going down to the number 2 spot, here is periodicals and newspapers. Although there is no area of copyright law that applies especially to newspapers, the publishers own both of their newspapers and online content. It is their intellectual property, therefore they have copyright protection. And for our top spot, eto na guys, madalas tayong magbasa ng mga ito. Here is books, pamphlets, articles, and other writings. When books, pamphlets, and articles are published, The rights prevents others from replicating the author's work and selling it for profit or otherwise without author's consent. Protection under copyright is the government's way of saying, hey, this book, pamphlet, or article is your original work. Taking everything into account, the internet is a very rich source of these materials and we should be careful in using them. These works are protected by the sole fact of their creation, irrespective of their form of mode of creation, as well as of their content, quality, and purpose. Now that copy and paste are very accessible commands in our computer toolbars, we should try not to violate the copyright laws, otherwise we could be accused of copyright infringement. Copyright infringement is the use of works without permission where the copyright holder has the exclusive right to reproduce, distribute, display, or perform the protected work, or to make derivative works. Proper citations should be used when including them in our output. And that is all for the copyrightable intellectual works and properties by authors and artists. This has been VJ Ayu for the Mixed Daily Top 15. Bye!
Ayan, mabuti naman at nandyan pa kayo mga housemates. At naatasan nga po ako na i-discuss sa inyo ang panibagong topic, which is the guidelines on online use of copyright materials. Number 1, contrary to popular opinion, all material on the internet is copyrighted unless stated otherwise. It is copyrighted even if it does not display the copyright symbol. Ibig sabihin, you can download the online materials you want, like journal articles, research, or magazine, but don't forget to cite the source or ilagay ang original authors. References are very important para hindi po tayo ma-plagiarize. Kahit po walang copyright symbol, ibig sabihin pwede po nating ma-download yun or ma-copy unless stated otherwise. Kung halimbawa nag-browse kayo sa internet, then may kailangan kayong i-download, pero yung napili nyo ay may nakalagay na this is not allowable to copy or download, then hindi po yun pwede. Next, an email is an original work fixed in a tangible medium of expression that is covered by copyright. Hence, it is recommended that you should not forward any email without permission in consideration of both Copyright and Privacy Act. Ayan, familiar naman siguro sa inyo ang email. Ginagamit na natin yan ngayon. So, ibig sabihin, you cannot post publicly an email sent to you privately. You cannot post private emails to your site or to your blog without the author's permission to do so. Buti kung nagpaalam ka, yun, pwede mo siya i-post or i-forward kung kanino man. Making copies of downloaded article from newspaper and website and distributing them prior to class discussion on the topic is permissible following the current photocopying guidelines, which permits making multiple copies for classroom use. It means that you can download article from newspaper website if you follow the photocopying guidelines. For example, as a teacher, you are allowed to make a copies of article you want for educational purposes, pero dapat isaalang-alang po natin yung photocopying guidelines. Halimbawa po, the amount of pages should be limited. Hindi po natin kailangan i-photocopy kung ano man ang nasa full article. Kailangan po limited lamang. The exception would be individually bylined, copyrighted articles, specially assigned for educational market, where such articles cannot be copied legally for class distribution. Kaya kung mapapansin nyo sa ating mga college student, pinabibili po tayo ng sarili nating aklat kasi po bawal ang photocopy. It is prohibited. You cannot post post students' essays, poems, or other works on school website unless you have permission of the students and their parents or guardians. Ayan, dito po, hindi po pwedeng pag nagandahan ka sa anumang gawa ng kaklase mo, tulaman yan o essay, pwede mo nang i-post sa website, especially sa school website, para masabing iyo. It is crucial or needed na humingi po ng permission sa original writer or author. Halimbawa, ako nagandahan ako sa tula na ginawa ng kaklase ko and pwede siyang mailagay o mai-apply sa ibang projects. Pero bago po yun gawin, kailangan kong magpaalam sa kaklase ko or sa kanyang magulang para at least may permission po tayo. Lastly, educators should treat copyrighted materials from the internet the same way to do the print formats. The best guideline is always obtain permission. When in doubt, ask. It means that permission is needed when you want to have a copy of it. Online materials man o hindi, it is very important to ask for permission as educators. Kahit naman hindi educator, you have to follow the guidelines and rules para hindi po tayo umabot sa anumang kaso.
This will be the last topic.
Hi, this is Ken's Daily, and I'm about to tell you and discuss another intellectual property rights. By the way, I would like to say sorry if today I cannot show you my face due to variety of reasons. But I will make sure that you will learn and gain knowledge from me. So, let's go! What is the difference between copyright infringement and plagiarism? When we say copyright infringement, it is unauthorized of creative work which belong to someone else, while plagiarism involves stealing of someone else's works, original and unique creation, and not giving proper credit to the originator. I will give you another meaning of plagiarism. According to plagiarism.org, it is an act of fraud, and it involves stealing someone else's work and lying it afterward. So these are the examples of how plagiarism works. Number 1 example: turning in someone else's work. Number 2, copying words or ideas from someone else without giving credit. So got it? So let's come now to the copyright infringement. When we say copyright infringement, it refers to the unauthorized duplication of stealing or another person's unique and creative work in a way which is prohibited by law. So these are the examples of how copyright infringement work. The number 1, recording a film in a movie theater. Number 2, using a musical group's copyrighted songs on your company's website. So I hope you got the difference between copyright and plagiarism. By now, I will give you another examples or video that will elaborate the difference between these two words.
Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to discuss the difference between copyright infringement and plagiarism. Though the subject matter of plagiarism and copyright infringement is the copying of the content, and that too without the consent of the creator. However, they are not one and the same thing. In plagiarism, it involves stealing someone else's original and unique creation and not giving proper credit to the originator, while copyright infringement refers to the unauthorized duplication or stealing of another person's unique and creative work in a way which is prohibited by law. Well, this video will explain to you the difference between copyright infringement and plagiarism in an easy way. In meaning, copyright infringement is when copyrighted materials is used without permission of the copyright holder, such that the exclusive rights of the holder is violated. Then, the wrongdoer is held liable for monetary compensation to the copyright holder. On the other hand, when any person steals and passes of another person's ideas or words and using them as their own without giving reference or credit to the source, it is called plagiarism. What is it? Copyright infringement involves the unauthorized use of creative work which belongs to someone else, as against plagiarism encompasses claiming or attempting to claim ownership of creative work of someone else. In subject matter, the subject matter of copyright infringement is copyright protected works. Conversely, all type of creative works is covered under plagiarism. In issue, copyright infringement has nothing to do with attribution. It is more about permission, that is, violation of copyright. It is said to have occurred even when source, author, or copyright holder is given reference. On the contrary, if proper citation is given, the work is not said to be plagiarized. Next is concerned with. While plagiarism is concerned with ideas, copyright infringement is concerned with the fixed expression of ideas.